Well, good morning from a slightly rainy and windy. How many times have you heard me say that? Slightly rainy and windy and chilly Hakodate. Plan for today is, there is no plan. Just gonna walk around. I was gonna go up to do the hike of Mount Hakodate, which you can maybe see. Hold on, wait till these signboards get out of the way. So up here, however, it is supposed to get very windy within the next hour. 60 kilometers an hour wind, so I'm thinking it's probably not the best idea to be walking up the top of a mountain. Now, it's not the biggest mountain, but it's a mountain, so I'm gonna see how it goes, but I'm gonna get coffee first. Now, I am going to 7-Eleven for coffee again, but my plan was to actually go to the cafe beside where I'm staying, because whatever it's called, California Baby I think it's called, but big sign outside saying best Americano in Japan. So I said, oh okay, this sounds good. I walked past it. Doesn't open till 11. What's the point of that? It's only 9:45 now, so I'm not waiting around. Sorry California Baby, but well, you're not gonna believe this. There's a little bit of blue sky. I think I might just go up the bloody mountain, do you know that? It's not that big. And the weather is, well, you know, I'll just take advantage of it. Have me coffee, so that's kind of started my day. Now the hike starts from just say underneath that observatory at the top. So gonna make my way there to where the ropeway starts. I could get the cable car up, but I want to do a little hike. Although I've been walking a lot since I've been here, but a hike is different. So I'm gonna check that out. Just hope the weather holds up. Can't use an umbrella because it's too windy. So I'm kind of just hoping. The things that I noticed since I got to Hokkaido is the distinct lack of shrines and temples. Now I think that has to do with the fact that it wasn't part of Japan until the late 1800s. So the influence of Buddhism or Shintoism didn't really get here until later, at least on a bigger scale. Which is fine, although I do like a temple. You have to understand that it's not part of their history. And I'm just at the base of Mount Hakodate, so weather is still good. There's every now and then there's like a little drop of rain, but it's nothing really major. It's just a few little drops you can feel on your face. But I wonder what the view is like here through the Torii Gate. Wow, it's pretty cool. So that shrine, that was built after Japan had taken over Hokkaido, and it was built as a way for them to honour all of the soldiers of the Imperial Army that were lost in the Hokkaido Japan Civil War, I guess. But there's another shrine up there that's been built since then. It was built in 1942, and that has the names of all of the, well, not all, but it's a commemoration to the Japanese soldiers who died fighting for the Imperial Army. So the Sino-Japanese War with Russia, World War II. Yeah, so it wasn't originally on the island of Hokkaido. They built it after they took over. Well, I'm at the base of it now, ready to start, and thankfully they have got a list of animals that I'll have a chance of encountering on my way. So no bears thankfully, but you got foxes, frogs, squirrels, bats. Now I say no bears, but unfortunately got 5 different types of snakes, and then they've got plants and birds, and I'm not 100% sure if any of those snakes are venomous. I think they would have had something in English, to be honest, if they were. There might be something up further, because I remember doing the hike in Miyajima, in just off the coast of Hiroshima, and about a quarter of the way up they had signs, the venomous snakes, beware. So I'm sure they'd have something like that. I hope they'd have something like that. Okay, to the summit, let's go. I'm glad the weather improved a bit today, because like I'm staying at basically at the base of the mountain. It's like a 10-minute walk, the hotel is, so it'd be a real shame if I couldn't get it done. So thankfully at the moment it's going well, and it's going to get to the point of no return then, so I guess no matter what the weather, in the end I'll have to go to the top. And if the weather was like really bad while I'm at the top, I'd just get the cable car down, to be honest. It'd make more sense. Now, if you were thinking, Dan, are you doing that hike to Mount Hakodate summit on your own? The answer is no. I've got a buddy with me. My 7-Eleven coffee cup that I can't get rid of. So this is probably the furthest this cup is ever going to go. Aren't you a lucky boy? Now, there's a reason that I was looking out on the sign to see if there was any bears. Because when I was in Morioka, Dela-san, the owner of the guest house, told me, like, if I'm hiking in Morioka, beware of bears, because they are around. I said okay. So I said to him, look, I'm planning on doing a few hikes in Hokkaido. Do they have bears? Because I was just thinking it's a separate island, you know, maybe the wildlife is different. And he said to me, oh yeah, they've got big bears. So I mean, that didn't necessarily instill me with confidence. But since they're not on the sign, I think they're on the more on the east coast of Hokkaido. But still just something to be careful of. So the end of that trail leads me onto a short bit of road that brings me to the summit. And I tell you, I underestimated how strong the wind was when I was walking up the trail, because it's sheltered. But when you get out here into the open, it's pretty strong and pretty cold. I'm hoping there won't be shelter at the top, but I'm hoping it's not as bad. I hope it dies down a little bit and the gales are not as strong. Well, just made it to the summit. Didn't take that long, about an hour from the base of Mount Hakodate, so let's check this out. Well, I've made it. It's not as windy here. I'm not completely at the top. I can go up here. Now the wind is starting to pick up. As I say, it's not that windy, but look at that view. Oh ho ho ho. Now that looks like rain over there, so I'm hoping it stays there. But you see this brown building down here? I'm trying to look at the camera and see if you'll see it. I think I'm pointing at it. Well, that's my hotel. So when you look at it from this distance, it's actually not It's not that far, but of course it's uphill. But it wasn't very difficult, to be honest. A lot of the trail, you have the off-trail kind of off-road part, but even in the off-road part, you've got like wooden steps in a lot of it, so it makes it feel a lot less like a hike, more like a bloody pilgrimage. I do need a toilet, so I need to. There is one up here. I'm gonna look for it though. We go all the way to the summit part. Oh, Jesus! See, up until about 3,500 years ago, Mount Hakodate was actually isolated. It wasn't attached to land, but eventually sand accumulated and connected it to the peninsula over here. And South Hakodate is built on that. Quite fascinating. Let's check out the observation deck. Seen worse. But just goes to show you that Hakodate is a lot bigger than the little area that I'm staying in now. Where I went to the fort yesterday is, you probably can't see this tower that's kind of here sticking up, but that's where the fort was, and that took a while to walk to. But even past that, like, it just goes on around and around, and this way all up the coast. This is where I started, down at the ropeway, zigzagged up. They even have a menu here for the restaurant, so you can get seafood pizza, rice, stuffed squid. Crab spaghetti, sea urchin spaghetti. Could be nice. Well, it's 12 o'clock now. So I bought myself an alcoholic beverage. This is a melon highball, 35%. But I got it in the shop. I was looking at the treats and sweets and stuff like that, but the crowds in there, Australian tourists, there's too many people. So I just walked to the fridge and I was looking. I was like, oh, okay, just grab this. Great view, isn't it? See this big mountain over here? I don't know what it is. A nice bay area. Now, those boats down here, that's where I came into Hakodate. And when I had to walk with the torrential rain and wind all along here. See, Hakodate station is here. And from where I was, I would have had to go further this way to get a train to Hakodate station and then walk. So it just didn't make any sense, really. So unfortunately, my 7-Eleven coffee cup found its final resting place in a bin. But I have a new friend, so I'm going to taste this melon highball, alcohol cocktail. It smells very melony, my god. A fake melon kind of smell, like a chewing gum, you know? Bottoms up. Nice. Doesn't taste like alcohol at all, which is very dangerous, but it's very refreshing. Just tastes like melon juice. I like that, although it's the only time I've seen it was up there, so I'm not sure if it's just a specialty for them or if it's a Hokkaido thing. I'll have a look when I'm in the supermarkets to see if I can see it again, just for future reference, in case I'm in the humour of a melon flavoured alcoholic cocktail. Now I'm making my way back down. That was a fun adventure. See, when you get back on the hiking trail, back to start going down, it's very calm. very quiet, no wind. I think the wind is coming in from the other side of the mountain, which is why at the top it's very, very strong. And even like on the road that loops up to the top, it's very strong. So I mean, there's still a bit of a breeze, but certainly not what it's like on the other side. Quite interesting here because Mount Hakodate itself, it's basically its own botanical garden. There's over 600 species of birds living here, and it has, I think, got 3,000 different types of plants, even some that are from South Japan, and we're up north, so it's quite interesting. It's very diverse. So tomorrow I take a bus at 10 a.m. to Sapporo, which is the capital of Hokkaido, and I'm staying there for a week. Of course, I'm not just using the city for a week, I'm gonna use the city as like a hub. Maybe a couple of day trips involved, but it is the big city. But I'm trying to think, like, you know, where do I go after that? The further north you go, the less there is in terms of cities. It's villages, of course, but one thing that sounds kind of interesting is that at the very north point of Hokkaido, there's a little town which I can't remember the name of. I only saw it yesterday for the first time. But apparently, from this little town, if you go to the port in the town, you can actually see Russia. So I'm kind of thinking that sounds, it's a once in a lifetime kind of thing, isn't it? Not to go to Russia, because I'm sure eventually, hopefully over time, it'll be possible to travel to Russia for other travellers, not for me. It doesn't particularly interest me, but at the same time it's still a very interesting thing to see, especially at this moment, to be able to stand there and say, look, this is Russia. So I just stumbled across some kind of a fun fair slash petting zoo. It's very small, didn't even know it was here, but I've got a goat. He looks like he's enjoying himself, doesn't he? Looks like there's like a little market here throughout the evening, but it looks like it's closed now. Must be a type of hen or something they look like, I'm not sure. But we check out the little ponies. No, well, it's a horse, but don't feed them, that's what it says. Oh yeah, they have other hens and stuff here. So I guess these are, look at these hairy ones, my god. Damn. Those big balls of fluff. Here you can see they're preparing. There must be a kind of a market on. Not today, but soon, because you can see they're kind of preparing the stalls. Probably like a weekend market, so I won't be here for it, unfortunately. And if you want baked cheesecake, for example, from a vending machine, cheesecake sticks, just come to Hakodate. Strawberry cream catalana, chocolate mudslide cake, everything, ice cream, curry, bugs, Oh, lovely. Locusts, crickets, mixed bugs if you're kind of not sure what you want. See? This little cafe looks nice though. What should I go in for? Hot honey beer, soybean, hot strawberry milk, hot milk chocolate, coffee. Temptation. Got a hot strawberry milk. No, hot chocolate milk. That was real hot chocolate. She was cooking boiling the milk over an open fire at the stove, you know, and she had these big bars of chocolate and she was cutting them up and melting the chocolate into it. Oh, real luscious, that's the word I'll use. Luscious, very tasty. Nice little atmosphere in there. It was like a real retro-y, you know. It's weird. It's just full of posters and like random stuff from around the world, so nice little atmosphere. Nice little lady as well. A big temple. Now my hotel is just around the corner, so I'm just popping back there to go toilet. Then I'm gonna pop up to the church and check it out. It's not far, it's basically where I am now, over this way a bit. So, the other side of my hotel. Just took a little visit into this Greek Orthodox church. Quite nice inside. It's very small, but it's nice. You just can't film anything or take photos. So. But it is nice inside. It's very warm, which is a nice change from being out here. It's a bit chilly. Got another church here. And this one is also a church. Now it's a weird style, but apparently from above it looks like a cross, the way the roof is, so that's why it looks like that. So I'm walking towards the old relatively preserved Motomachi district. And this area is slightly different than the other style of streets in typical Japanese towns and cities, because back in 1859 Hakodate, along with Yokohama and Nagasaki, became the first international trading ports in Japan. So a lot of these buildings were religious buildings, like these churches here, buildings for diplomats, this kind of thing. So they don't really fit the typical architecture that you'd see in Japan. So it's nice to see it kind of preserved like that. Let's go take a little look. So you can see this style of building is definitely not typical of what you'd see walking through the streets of Japan normally. A lot of these houses, like the green one, kind of remind me of something, you know, something that you'd see in like New Orleans or somewhere like that. Now I took a turn here because I see this shrine up here, and apparently it's not confirmed, but it's thought to be the oldest shrine in Hokkaido. Ryonen, the founder of some branch of Buddhism that I'm not entirely sure the name of it, came here to try and spread the word of it, and he built this shrine. It was originally a shrine dedicated to Kannon, and if you remember, Kannon was the gigantic statue that we saw in Sendai, the goddess of mercy. The original building that was here burned down in a fire in the late 1800s, but the area itself, the shrine, is still around. got two smaller shrines over here. Four smaller shrines. Two very small ones and two small ones. And just now, walking up to the old Motomachi Public Hall. Look at this. Now if you turn around to me and say, that looks Japanese, you're fooling yourself. Now this building is not the original. The original one was destroyed in 1907 in a big fire that spread across the city and burned about 12,000 houses down, and this was one of them. But a group of businessmen and residents put money together, and about 3 years later it was rebuilt the same way that it was in 1907 before it burned down. You notice that a lot in Japan, when places burn down or they're damaged, a lot of local people seem to come together to kind of help rebuild it, like Matsumoto Castle. I mean, if it wasn't for the locals there, that would have been torn down. Strange walking through it because it actually doesn't feel like a Japanese street, you know. You got a lovely view of the harbour here. Everyone with their selfie sticks, all the Chinese tourists. Well, you have to give this shop credit. It's an ice cream shop and they sell ice cream melon bread. They don't claim to be the best in the world. It's just the second most delicious ice cream melon bread in the world. At least they're modest. Now this monument, which is a bronze Chinese phoenix, represents the 3 times that Meiji, Emperor Meiji, visited Hakodate. And I know I often say that bloody Meiji fella tearing down castles and colonising and annexing Hokkaido. I mean, making the Ainu people spread out around Japan. That wasn't very nice. It was quite bad actually. But at the same time, without Meiji changing Japan, it wouldn't be what it is today, really. I mean, now everybody looks at Japan as this ultra modern powerhouse, you know, tech powerhouse, everything. Whereas maybe if Emperor Meiji didn't do what he did, maybe Japan would be still not a third world country, but definitely not the powerhouse that it is today. Can you believe the sun came out for a second time today? Well, I can't believe it. And funny enough, I'm leaving tomorrow, and tomorrow is supposed to be very sunny, but it's also supposed to be sunny in Sapporo, where I'm going. So it's almost 6 o'clock now. I think it's about time I start looking for a bit of food. I'm getting hungry. I only had a sandwich earlier. And, well, actually no, I didn't just have a sandwich. I also had some chocolate macadamias that I got in 7-Eleven. But I think we need something a bit more substantial. Let's have a little wander around and see what we can find. Look at that. Looks good, right? It's all about the taste. That's good. The broth is really nice. well, it was bloody lovely. It was premium, it was called. You know, it was a bit dearer than the last few ramens I've got now. When I say dear, it's a couple of $100 dearer, so €1, you know, 150. But about halfway through, I said, you know what? I'll add a little bit of chili oil to it. Bloody chili oil was right. Oh, spicy, I tell you. But that was lovely. I also made the mistake of ordering a soft-boiled egg. See, I looked at the picture of it and it looked like there was an egg on it, you know, but when I ordered it, it said, do you want to add an egg? I was like, yeah, okay. So it was $100 something. So when it came out, I got 2 boiled eggs, so there was one with it after all, but can't get enough eggs, I suppose. Now, if you're ever looking around for food in Korea or Japan and you want to go to a seafood place, honestly, the best places you can probably go to are the ones that have their crabs on display. At least if you're going to order crab. Now, some places have octopus and even fish, but if they have the crab there, you know, although it kind of, as a Westerner, you kind of look at it and say, alright, I know what I'm eating, but I don't want to be seeing it crawling around before. But I mean, the fact is that you know it's fresh, you know. You can't get away from that fact, no matter how weird it is to look at it outside. So I think if you are looking for seafood in Japan or Korea, I haven't seen it in China, look for a place that has something like that, because I think, just as I said, it's a sign of freshness. So right now, I think I'm just gonna go to 7-Eleven or Seiko Mart. I'm gonna get a little cream puff, Hokkaido cream, of course, because you have to when I'm in Hokkaido. And I'm gonna head back, have my shower, pack my bag for tomorrow, and then sleep. So there's no more video for me to film today. So I guess I'll catch you tomorrow. Take it easy.